Hi everyone. So my name is Ayush Mahajan. I'm a fourth year student at the Ivy Business School at the University of Western Ontario. I'm originally from New Delhi in India, but I did spend the majority of my of my life in Dhaka, Bangladesh, so around 17 years. So I specifically selected Western because I heard a lot of good things from a couple of family friends who studied there already. Um, I was also very attracted to the Ivy Business School. I actually applied to all the major business schools in Canada, which include like Sauder at UBC, Rotman at U of T, and DeSoto's at McGill. I got into all of those, but I made my decision kind of for Ivy because it had the best reputation. Um, and it also offered a great like education opportunities, and specifically going into it kind of valued the case-based method, which I gathered all that information through extensive research, talking to counselors, even calling the university from abroad. And just a tip, if you have Skype, you can kind of just like use your credits and do international calls. So on the application process, from what I remember, I think I did do it through OUAC, but maybe I can talk a little more specifically for the AO application. That was mostly like essays and like a video interview. So in that, I suggest just kind of highlighting your extracurricular activities, kind of what you did outside of school. Hopefully your grades are decent, but so maybe like that won't be like the critical factor. It's more so kind of the leadership qualities you have outside and kind of what you did more so in your free time. And even if you played sports and things like that, it's always good to talk about those and include that in your essays and the video interview. So I actually applied from India because I did spend my last year of high school in India. um, it's really good to go to like kind of the High Commission, the Canadian High Commission, and just kind of gather information from there. You have to apply for a student visa. So it should mostly be easy if you're coming from India and Bangladesh in terms of you just use the your letter of acceptance and ensure that it has the Western University letterhead on it. You use that and kind of show good financial standing from your parents or your family. And in terms of financial requirements, Western's tuition roughly you can assume for internationals to be around 30 to 35,000 annually. That is a bit steep compared to some of the other universities. So try to kind of outline your extracurriculars and attain some kind of scholarship. That would be very beneficial. And let's say you are applying to Ivy in your third and fourth year, you can attain a line of credit from one of the big five banks. So you may want to pursue that option, but that's obviously more so once you're in the country, you can figure that out. In terms of visa, the reason why kind of you would choose Canada over the US, which is probably a big decision you are making if you are planning to go to North America, is that after your 4 years of undergrad, or however many years, if you want to do 5 years, after your undergrad, you can apply for a 3 year postgraduate work permit, which basically entitles you to stay in the country for 3 years after you've graduated. So like I'm assuming a lot of people here trying to find professional opportunities. So it's a really good way to kind of it's almost like a comfort level and a safety net that you know you have 3 years after your undergrad where you can spend maybe the first few months trying to find a job, or if you already have something secured, you don't have stress of leaving the country. And then once after you've worked for a few years, you can also apply for your permanent residence and hopefully translate that into a citizenship if that's what your goal is. So for banks, I use TD, which is Canada, the Toronto, or sorry, it's Canada Trust Bank, Toronto Dominion. They're pretty good, but other options are RBC, CIBC, BMO. So you can explore all those and maybe talk to like different people. So one of the biggest thing probably is, I mean, obviously in a new country, one of the biggest thing I had was food. I was used to like home cooked kind of Indian food and like taste that I liked. So finding that in a city like London is a bit hard. But over 3 years, I have seen a lot of growth in a lot of restaurants popping up. It's also probably because there's around 400,000 immigrants who come to Canada annually, so that's a big part of it. But the first week was basically I came to Canada, landed in Toronto. We stayed at an Airbnb. Um, First, yeah, you have to. I got a new phone, so went to like Fido. I find them to be a very good kind of like telecom service. They offered me a good deal, and you can also if it's you can always buy phones on contract and kind of finance it. So that's a good option if you don't want to put the upfront cash. I would suggest the going with Fido. They're good. They have good deals on data and things like that. Then yeah, I got a bank account. I went to TD, just went to a local branch, spoke to someone there, and then and then he issued me a credit card, debit card. They're really good at customer service, so any questions you have, just ask a retail specialist over there, and they'll help you get set up. They take you in like a little office. You can tell them about your needs, what kind of account you want, if you want a student account or a regular checking account. It's also good if you can try to get a part-time job when you initially come, because that's going to help you get some money back from taxes and things like that. So look into like kind of like the tax system as well and where you can kind of benefit from that. And then after, so I got my phone, I got my bank account. Then I drove over to London. So one thing you guys might be useful is there's a lot of rideshare services available. So obviously, when you first come to Canada, you may not have a car, and you may not want to use public transport as much for like longer distance travel. So you can always find Facebook groups of have ride shares and kind of just find different people going back and forth from Toronto to London, especially if you have family more in like the Toronto region and you want to meet them, because you definitely feel homesick in the beginning. So it's always good to kind of have a more of a set way to meet family in person. So yeah, okay, one thing, yeah, preparing to move into residence. So residence in the first year, it's going to be a good time definitely, but it may be a big adjustment if you're used to kind of having your own room. So I'd say one thing is kind of maintain a good relationship with your roommate. Have set like guidelines and expectations from the outset, so you don't walk into any issues. Try to get to know as many people as you can, because everyone will be a resource. Try to get to know the RAs, the Dons, kind of the people managing the residence. So if you want to invite guests or if you have any issues, you can contact them. And then maybe, and like sometimes even something as small as like going to the cafeteria and requesting sometimes like a change in menu or something that suits you. It's just good to like have these contacts and talk to people. Have a positive mindset. You may not make friends in your first week, second week, third week, second month, third month, but once you get more into the groove of things, you focus on your academics. Then you meet people in classes, clubs, extracurriculars. So there's always someone who have the same interests as you. So even if you may not have a common interest with most people, so just keep working at it and don't give up. And always contact family, friends from back home just to kind of keep yourself sane. There's like clubs is the biggest thing. So I joined the Western Cricket Club, and now I'm currently the president. So that was a great experience for me. I met a lot of my friends from that. You just have good bonding because it's a sport. There's your background, your grades, nothing else matters. It's just you having fun in the moment. You can also join like a cultural club. So like if you're from Bangladesh, you can join the Bengali Students Association. If you're from India, you can join the Western Indo-Canadian Students Association. Great people. You just get to know people of similar backgrounds, similar interests. So that's always a good thing coming into a new country. Also, if you have certain interests, whether it's like social work or investing or like jujitsu or anything, there's a club for everything and every interest. So just go attend they have a clubs week on the first week when in like early September, I think. So just attend that event and talk to as many clubs as you want, and really just sign up for like, maybe not don't sign up for too many because there is a cost associated, but find like 2 or 3 that you know that you'll attend regularly and that really cater to your interests, and then go and just sign up for those clubs, reach the events, and just get involved as much as you can. It can be overwhelming, so you don't have to start like very heavy. Like slowly start. Maybe you can do 1 or 2 clubs first semester and then join a couple next semester. So yeah, I think I talked about so just meeting new people, making friends. It's kind of on how much you're willing to put yourself out there. And if you're an introvert, that's still fine. I say I'm introverted and extroverted like at the same time. So just finding your niche, finding kind of things you like, and then finding like-minded people. And Canada is actually very friendly to South Asian people, I've noticed. So, and London is becoming more diverse. So don't be too worried about how everyone here is different, because you may just find that you find a lot of similar people. Campus has really good mental health resources. There's also other resources and clinics in London. You can also talk to kind of your academic counselors. They're always a good resource. Talk to your friends and family. And then also keep a good connection with kind of like the international student IESC, I think is what it's called. It's like basically like the Department for International Students. They can offer you special bursaries, scholarships. You can just explain your financial situation to them and see what they can do for you. So having a good relationship with them is also recommended. And then they also help you out with visa and all that, and like all those kind of things, applying for a postgraduate work permit. There's also a tax clinic, which can help you file your taxes. So really just kind of explore every resource you have, and a lot of the stuff is free, so you might as well avail them while you're here. I think one thing I would do is kind of like explore my interests a bit more in terms of Korea and that side. So I had a lot of fun in my first few years, but coming from India and Bangladesh, we don't really talk about career. So maybe really just start networking from day one and talking to as many people who are in different industries. Obviously, you can take the first year kind of just. I would just take the first year to kind of get settled, but I think my second, third year, I would really want to talk to as many people as possible. One thing I've noticed is people here are very friendly. So I would, if I had to talk to my first year self, it would just be to reach out, be positive, and kind of just put myself out there even more. And then something I knew or wish I could have taken advantage of earlier was the international student body. They actually have a lot of good help with finances. And then also another thing I would say is I wish I would have taken a part-time job, because it just helps you a lot and keeps you kind of grounded. So I wish I did that in my first 2 years. So I'd really recommend that to any new student coming in. And yeah, that's kind of my advice and kind of my experience. Thank you guys for listening.